Hello and welcome to TLC time and to Yellowstone National Park. In the summertime, I have the privilege of living 30 minutes away from the West Yellowstone entrance. And I want to talk to you today. I'm here today and I've been here all day, and I want to talk to you about confidence. So I left my house at 3:15 this morning, and I was confident that I would see at least one wolf. And the reason that I was confident that I would see a wolf is because I have some knowledge that I've built over the years and some experience seeing the wolves in particular places. And so that knowledge and that experience builds upon itself until I end up with some pretty good confidence about where I will find them. So I left at 3:15, and even though it takes me 30 minutes to the entrance, it's another 2 hours for me to get there, as my knowledge indicates and my experience indicates, by daybreak, which I did. And oftentimes along the way I see bears. I come for the wolves, but I do love the bears as well. And today I did see, right now I'm not through yet, but I have seen 3 grizzlies and 3 black bears. Let me tell you about the wolves though. So I was by myself, and other people came along eventually. I was the first one there in my little area. And I went to where I know there's a den. And I was, I'm kind of across the river, the den's way up on the hill, and I set up my scope and I'm ready to see that typically the pups go in at sunrise. They've been out hunting and such. And then a little while later they'll come out and play around. And so I knew that I would set up camp and stay there for a bit. Well, 2 families came, and we were 3 cars in a row, and then there were a couple more. We're all pointing towards this den all the way over on the hill. And at one point, the mosquitoes were eating us alive. And at one point, this is maybe 2 hours in, we hadn't seen anything. Well, that's not true. We hadn't seen any wolves yet. We had indeed seen pronghorn and bison and elk, and had not seen a bear walk along the hill, but that happens quite frequently while we're looking for the wolves. Anyway, so I turn around, I just wanted to keep walking in order to get away from the mosquitoes. And I walked to the other end of my car and where we were all parked. And I walk over and I just sort of look up at the other hills, and I look around, and boom, there's a wolf staring at me, only about 50 yards away, which is way too close, but he was coming towards me. And I looked and I said, they weren't that far from me, and I said, here we go. And I backed towards my car because, quite frankly, he was closer than I was comfortable with. That wolf looked at me with great confidence. It knew its territory. It probably knew I would back away, and off it was going down by the river. It went through the river, shook off just like a dog does, carried on, looking around for food, and then eventually ended up at the den. Once it got up to the den, it was one of the females. Then one of the pups did come out, which is fantastic. Here's my point about confidence. I so often have clients who say, well, my boss told me, or somebody, a senior leader or a colleague told me, or a partner told me, or a parent told me that I need more confidence. I think to myself, well, that's not actually helpful. And I wonder if you've ever said to someone, you should be more confident. The thing about that is, that actually sets the person up to go, spiral and ruminate on it and think, oh, I'm not confident enough, and then they start into a negative slide or spiral downward. What's more beneficial, whether you are any of those people, the boss, the partner, the colleague, is to elaborate on what the person does do well. Elaborate on a strength or something that they bring to every meeting. Let's say, and here's an example. Let's say this person is super clear. You as the leader want them to be more confident speaking up in meetings when it's a bigger meeting. Yet, when they're with you, they ask good questions, they seek clarity. So lean on that and say, I appreciate how interested you are to get to the finer details and the great questions that you ask probing deep questions, seeking clarity. And I wonder how you might do that in the larger setting, in the group meeting, the team meeting, or what have you. So now you're actually coaching towards that confidence without saying you need to be more confident. So I encourage you to think about how you can help those that you would like to say you need to be more confident, how you can actually help them get there by acknowledging their strengths and what it is they already do well. Building upon that knowledge, and then doing it and reflecting, getting positive reinforcement, that experience over and over again is what gets us to confidence. Thanks for tuning in.